Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is my end of the year wrap-up video. I'm really excited. Technically, I have a few more days before 2021, but pretty sure I'm not going to be finishing some of the books that I'm in the middle of reading within like 2 days. So I'm just gonna call it now and do a wrap-up because I'm on a vacation right now. So I want to relax. I don't want to like try to rush to read anything in the next 2 days because I have been waiting for this for weeks. It's finally here. So I had a reading challenge goal on Goodreads to read 100 books. No, actually, I'm sorry, 110 books this year. And I ended up reading 142 books. So excited about that. This is the most I've ever read since I've been keeping track of what I've been reading. And honestly, I think this is the most I've ever read in a year in general. I don't ever remember reading this many books ever. So there you have it. In December, I read a total of 14 books. The first book I want to talk about is going to be God Level Knowledge Darts, Life Lessons from the Bronx. This is Adizes and Mero's book. I got this a few months ago and I didn't even realize that they had written a book. To be fair, I don't have Showtime, so they may have talked about it on the Showtime show, and I just didn't see it. Technically, I follow them on Twitter, but I don't remember seeing them talking about a book. So when I saw this at Barnes & Noble, I was like, okay, I have to get it. And I rated this 3 stars. I ended up having to listen to this on audiobook because Mero's chapters are written all in caps, and that's how he tweets. And as far as reading it in a book, it just didn't work for me. So I switched to audiobook and I preferred it that way. I think if you are already a fan of Adizes and Mero, you're gonna get the humor, the jokes. I thought it was really funny. Listening to it on the audiobook was almost like listening to their podcast or watching them on TV, on Viceland. And because I even still watch clips on YouTube from when they were on Viceland. That's how much I really love Adizes and Mero. I will rewatch stuff I watched already because I love them so much. But it was good. Like I said, I prefer the audiobook. I didn't like the fact that it was written in all caps. That just kind of took me out of it. And it was actually kind of hard to read, weirdly. So 3 stars, I did like it. If you don't know who Adizes and Mero are, if you look on the Goodreads page in the comments, I think a lot of people had a good point that if you're already familiar with them, you'll like it. You're most likely gonna like it. If you're not, you might not like it. I can't speak for these other people who are gonna read it, but I feel like because I've already been introduced to them and I like them already and I find them very funny, I really enjoyed their book. But like I said, audiobook for me. Obviously, I love Adizes' chapters. He's really funny. I love them both, but Adizes is my favorite. So yeah, 3 stars for this one. Next up was Supernova by Marissa Meyer. I did it! I said I wanted to finish this, and I finally finished the series. I gave this series 4 stars. To be honest, I definitely did skim through some of the stuff in this book. Some of the like angst between Nova and Adrian got kind of old. The fact that some things could have just been easily solved if they would just spoken to each other, that was kind of annoying. And I didn't really care about all of the times that Adrian and Max were like bonding. I just didn't care. really did not care. In the end, I thought it was actually a really good ending to the series. There was something that happens at the end, which I won't bring up. If you're ready, you probably know what I'm going to say. But something happens where something gets taken away and then gets brought right back. And I thought, oh, kind of liked the idea that this might be taken away from everyone. And then everybody's on an even playing field. So I don't know how I feel about that particular part of the ending. And then I saw what was going to happen with Ace. I already knew that that's what really happened to Nova's father. I saw that coming a mile away. One thing I did not see coming was the twist about Adrian and phobia. In a way, I kind of thought, oh wow, that's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of embarrassing for Adrian, like for real, like really, really embarrassing. Just saying. And then in the very end, Magpie, I think her name is, the girl who steals, saw that coming, already knew that that was going to be something. Don't really understand why, still doesn't know who her family is, considering the person who her family is, like, pretty well known at that. I would assume that at this point the stories come out about who she really is. So I don't know. Didn't like those little parts at times, but overall I actually really liked the series. I would recommend it. I think it's a good, like, little science fiction-y young adult novel. The next book I read was The 12 Dates of Christmas by Jenny Bayless. This I gave 4 stars. This is a romance. I think you get the point. She's going on 12 dates before Christmas. And I liked it. I actually liked Kate as a character, although I did skip over, like, the moments where she was creating things for the fashion line. I feel kind of bad about that, but I didn't care, honestly. I want to know what's going on with the dates. I found this to be really funny. I liked some of the moments where there was kind of a twist. Her date with Oliver, the stuff that was going on with, I can't remember the one date's name. I truly thought that the one date who was, like, turned out to be, like, Richard? Was that his name? I think his name was Richard. He's, like, the first one that she's supposed to go on a date with. I thought something completely different was going to happen with him, but in the end, he was still what we see him to be. And I wanted to strangle Kate when she's having that conversation with her friend and she's like, usually I'm so much smarter than this, but I'm gonna give it a try anyway. Oh my gosh, if you feel and you see the red flags, I mean, why would you keep giving it a try? It just blew my mind. I could not take that. That made me hate Kate. Matt as a character, didn't like him. Didn't like the first time he treated Kate like crap, and didn't like the second time he treated Kate like crap. I didn't like him at all. Man-child. I mean, use your words. Take a breath. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't be abusive towards someone. So I liked the book, but I hate the love interest person that she ends up with. I don't think that person was a good person. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. But I still give this one 4 stars. It was fun to read. And I like the little part about her dad. And I like the cozy town aspect of this. I think that was probably my favorite part, is that it's a small town and everybody knows everybody, but there was no, like, nastiness. There wasn't, like, one neighbor who's, like, the rude one. And then we get to see her being rude or something. Like, everybody was really cool. And I liked it. I liked the 12 Days of Christmas. Next up was Christmas Coco Murders. So I saw this book a few times when I was in Barnes & Noble, and for some reason, it just made me laugh. Like, the cover made me laugh. Look at it. That's funny to me. And then you read the book, and it's 3 short stories from 3 different authors who, I didn't realize this until I kind of got into the first story, but it's already well-established characters that these authors already have. And it all has to do with somebody dying from hot cocoa. And I don't know why, even now, like, I can't not laugh about that because it's just so ridiculous. The first one, a fake Santa dies in a hot cocoa dunk tank. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's funny to me. Not that someone's dead, but, like, that's funny. And so the first one was by Carleen O'Connor. That was one of my favorites of the 3. I definitely liked that one. The second one was Christmas Cocoa and a Corpse by Maddie Day. That was my least favorite of the 3. I didn't hate it, but the thing I liked so much about the first one was very similar to 12 Dates of Christmas, was the tight-knit town, basically, that it takes place in, where everybody knows everybody. And what's the cop's name? Siobhan. Siobhan basically is about to start being a cop, but she won't be a cop until the new year. But she's still kind of, like, starts because of this murder. And I thought it was funny. Like, I laughed out loud several times. I liked the dynamic of the family. There were quite a few names I could not pronounce. I am not actually, it took place in Scotland, I think. Lots of names I couldn't pronounce, but I did my best. And Christmas Coco and a Corpse wasn't terrible, but wasn't my favorite. But then Death by Hot Cocoa by Alex Erickson. That one was funny. So it takes place in a escape room. It was really funny. I would definitely want to read Carlene O'Connor and Alex Erickson's books, especially because the one that's Death by Hot Cocoa that takes place in the escape room, from what it seems like, the lady who's the main character just inadvertently ends up getting involved in these things, and then she ends up solving it before the cops do, and I find that hilarious. I love when you show a cop up. So I loved this. I don't know if I already said this, but I gave this 4 stars. Only 4 because I didn't like the second one, but honestly, this was so funny. It was the perfect thing to read for this month, and I could actually see myself reading this again just because it made me laugh so much. Next, I read Secret Santa by Andrew Schaefer. This I gave 5 stars. I thought it was actually really funny. It takes place in the 80s, I believe, 80s or early 90s. And there's a girl named Lucy, which the one thing I could not get past is the way he spelled her name was Lussi. So I kept thinking Lucy, but it's Lucy. I don't know. She is trying to work for a publishing house, and she applies to this one that's like very Skull and Bones-esque. It's been producing the same style of book for years, and she is from the horror genre. She published a bunch of horror novels, which were very popular at the time, and when she makes her way into this office on her first interview, she meets the boss or whatever. He's like, no, I don't like you. Something happens, and she ends up being involved anyway. And the publishing house in general is very spooky. Something weird is going on. She thinks that the staff is weird because they are pretty weird. And she believes that someone's pranking her because all these bad things start happening to her now co-workers, but she can't explain why. And I thought it was actually a really cool concept, this book. It was funny, but it was also pretty, it had its little spooky moments. I literally read this an entire day. I started this at the beginning of my work day. Yes, I did read this while I was working. And I didn't finish, I finished it that night. Like, I don't know when I started my day. Let's just say I started my day at 9 in the morning. By the time I got home, I think I finished this at 9 o'clock at night. I mean, it's a short book. It's what, like 200? It's like barely 200 pages, like 207. And I devoured this. It was so entertaining. I really wanted to know what was going on. And in the end, I loved the ending because it's a perfect circle. Like, we're coming right back around and the same thing's gonna happen. I liked what ends up being the scary aspect of the book. I thought that was really cool. So I gave this 5 stars. I know that Andrew Schaefer recently had some issues. I didn't know that when I got this book. I was like, I really want to read it. So despite the fact that he's had some problematic situations recently, I did really like this book. Next up, really quick, the newest volume of Demon Slayer. I teared up at one point. I almost thought that someone had just come back to life, but that did not happen. And then the story, like I said, this is what always happens. A demon dies, and then in this case, it wasn't that we saw the humanity of the, it's not that we saw the humanity of the demon that made me like tear up. It's that a Hashira has died and made like the ultimate sacrifice to kill the demon. And then we see the Hashira as he's dying. So they're basically dying, not together, but you know, what ends up happening when a demon dies is you kind of like I don't know, it seems like they're suspended in a limbo before they finally go wherever it is they go. And that's where that Hashira was like waiting for him. I hate, so sad. So many people are dying right now, and we haven't even killed the main person yet. We haven't even killed Muzan yet. And I don't even think that's a spoiler, because you know that that's always going to inevitably happen. But like, seriously. And then the very end of this one, a character who I didn't really like is, you know, it's just a lot is going on. I have no idea how many more volumes they're going to put out before this is over. It's a lot going on here, okay? And I don't know how much more death I can take. And no, I was actually wrong. Someone I actually like is actually at the end of this one. They like replace, not because they're dead, but they replace that person because they're injured. Like, my God. Like, I'm a little worried for certain people that are like the main character in this. Is everybody going to be dead by the end of Demon Slayer? Like, I'm not happy about that. But this, I mean, 5 stars. I like it. I mean, I do kind of feel like we're dragging on a bit, but what do you expect? I'm reading it as it's coming out, so that's probably why I feel that way. But who knows? All right, next I read volumes 11 and 12. Oh, actually, not volumes. I read chapters 11 and 12 of Something is Killing the Children. The whole volume 3, that's I think chapters 10 through maybe 14 or 15, doesn't come out until next year. So I'm just reading the issues and chapters at this point for free on Hoopla. I do plan on buying all 3 volumes. I'm not sure if volume 3 is when everything ends or not, but it's still getting really good. Right now, the organization that the main character works for, I believe her name is Erica, has now come to the town. And who knows what the hell is going to happen. Somebody just died. I didn't like to see that because that person didn't do anything wrong. But a lot is going on. And again, something is killing the children. I don't know if this is a demon or whatever, but it's some kind of monster, and children and adults are dying. A lot of death in this town. Next, I listened to Empire of Gold on audiobook. I gave that 5 stars. Second one I said I wanted to finish before the year was up, and I did it. And honestly, amazing. I know I said this last time. I absolutely love the narrator for the series. I think that, I just think they do a great job. And like I said in my last video, like the sound at 2 times the speed, her voice is just perfect. I love it so much. I still gotta say, I was a little bit lost again, because, you know, Nari is half Shafit, half, oh damn, now I can't remember. Nahid. I can't remember why there's an issue. So this is a series that I want to go back and reread or re-listen to and figure everything out. But honestly, it was fabulous. Again, I cried. Again, I cried in the car while I was driving. Not really sure why I keep doing this to myself. Listening to stuff I know is going to make me cry. I almost sobbed in the car as I was driving 80 miles an hour. It was a lot. It was a lot. But honestly, the series is amazing. Nari is an amazing character. Dara, oh my God. Like, he is truly a character that I feel so much sorrow for. And I think that this book makes you feel that much worse for him. Honestly, I feel so bad for him. I like Nari, and I genuinely feel, oh my God. And the twist that we find out about Nari, man, I didn't see that coming. Didn't see that coming. But a lot goes on in this series. A lot goes on in this last book. Like the last 5 hours listening to it, I was like, oh my God, like we're about to be done, and I don't even know how this is going to end. It's a completely epic last battle, and truly, I don't know. I just love all the characters. But honestly, Dara is the one like I love the most, because I like him, but I also feel so bad for him. And lastly, I read volumes 11 through 15 of Akame Got Kill. I gave that 5 stars. I've already said I've watched the anime. I really loved it. I think I mentioned in my last video that it was a series that I loved from this year, and mainly because of the fact that you get to see certain people be in relationships that you don't get to see in the anime. And I feel like there were characters who got a happy ending that you might not have expected, but that I wanted from them. I wanted for them. I wish that we could have seen that in the anime, and that I wish that we didn't see certain things for certain characters in the way that they died. I just didn't like it. I could have done without it. But truly, I love that manga. It is so great. 5 stars if I didn't already say that. I love it. Please read Akame Got Kill. And then, or before, I don't know, but read Akame Got Kill 0. I don't see or hear a lot of people talk about that. I hear a lot of people like the anime. I don't hear about a lot of people reading it. And I want someone to talk about their relationships with. So please read this so I can have someone to talk to about it, because I want to talk about mine. I want to talk about Tatsumi. I want to talk about, oh my God, Kodame and Wave. And like, there's so many characters that I want to talk about. Oh my God. It's just so much. It's so much. It's just so much. I don't know. I'm getting flashes of everything I read, and like the stuff that's not the same in the manga that is just so cool that I really wish was in the anime. For 3 characters in particular, I really, really wanted that for them. But anyway, before I go on another rant and another tangent, there you have it. 14 books for the month of December. I think I had a great reading month. I think I had a great reading year, if I do say so myself. 142 books. I don't know if I'm going to make my reading goal, like to try to top it, because, you know, the reason why I made my reading goal this year 110 books is because last year I read 105 books. I don't know if it's too ambitious to be like, let's read 150 books. I don't know. I don't know. It might be too much. I mean, technically, my friend loaned me all of her copies of The Promised Neverland. I don't know how many volumes are in there, but she basically has the first one to the one that's been the most recently put out that, you know, we could get our hands on. And I think that's like at least 15 volumes. So I could start the year off pretty good, but we'll see. We'll see what I decide a few days from now. I'm gonna think on it. But yeah, thank you for watching this. If you liked the video, please like the video. Subscribe if you really, really like the video. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.